Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carla Iorio, and I am head of Special Airplane and STC section in the City Directorate, and also project manager of the City 2020 roadmap. And with me, there is Javier Castillo, head of propulsion section, and also change agent on the City 2020 roadmap. Today, we would like to share with you some elements of the City 2020 roadmap, in particular, the reasoning and the drivers behind this change, the nature of the change, what is the content of this change, how this change will be and is presently implemented in EASA, who are our stakeholders inside EASA and outside EASA, and an overview, a very high-level overview on our planning and timelines. First, the reasoning. The reasonings are connected to, I would say, in terms of timing, to two moments. We would like to tackle with the City 2020 roadmap, so the certification directorate change, the necessity to improve the inefficiency that we have identified today, so it's not just for the tomorrow, and also for the future to be prepared to tackle the new changes that are on our way, changes that are relevant to new technologies, and you are, a rotorcraft community, so the eVTOL, the electrical and hybrid propulsion, digitalizations, artificial intelligence, to mention some of them, but changes also to new regulatory framework and also a financial framework. And I heard before the new basic regulations were mentioned probably several times also today. Important is also the international cooperation that is also affecting, of course, the way in which we will work in the future. And changes also to new business model, meaning new entrants in our aviation world. And again, connecting to the rotorcraft, new products that we need to be prepared to certify. We need to be prepared to validate. The drivers, going a little bit more in details on what has pushed us, to activate this change. Which are the needs, the shared needs of the city community, that we have seen for ourselves and for the external world. To ensure, of course, that we are and we will be in the future tackling highest safety and environmental and sustainability standards, as well as to improve, as I said, efficiency, and so gain efficiency in some area, still guarantee a stable and reliable service for initial and continued airworthiness. But also, again, facilitate the entrance of new technologies. And this is not just a reasoning, but a shared need of the people working in city. To also facilitate, and this is more relevant to the staff of city, the possibility for talented people, and to really being properly used in different projects on the spot, but also planned, and so the possibility to develop for each and every individual in City Directorate a competency matrix. Of course, this is also a great opportunity to introduce new tools, new platforms, and this is going to be very helpful for internal stakeholders and as well as for the external stakeholders. The City 2020 roadmap project is actually designed around key areas of transformations. The nature of this project is actually very gradual, and I will describe even more later on, because it will start initially as a transition, so a slow changes into a new organization, but will become and will impact strongly different technical areas, so becoming a full transformations in the next couple of years. The areas that you see here in these icons, that is designed around city staff, these areas are actually not exhaustive. They have been identified at the beginning of the process, but I can tell you now, along the way, we have already expanded them. These are only 6, but we have already reached an higher numbers. And maybe a few words to explain what we mean by that. Let's use, as an example, the engine aircraft integrations. Why we are tackling this technical domain? Because integration of different products is clearly seen as crucial. I mean, we cannot just only focus, on engine or aircraft. We need to focus on them together, and as well as creating synergy between product certification and DOA, or integration of research in a structured and systematic way. We are of course doing research. We have a department and a directorate focus on that, but how we can do it with efficiency, how we can properly integrate research, making a proper cooperation with institutions, with research centers, with university, and so forth. Of course, innovations is another key area. I think this is clearly involving also rotorcraft, and all the new technologies affecting the rotorcraft. What makes this project, I would say, really titanic in a way, and is the fact that these key areas of transformations are not developed in a monodimensional way. They are developed in a multidimensional way. And let's go back to the example of engine and aircraft integrations. We are not just integrating technically the products. We are going to do this transformation looking in details to several dimensions, meaning that we integrate the technical area, but how the processes connected to this integration can be improved. Which new way of workings we are going to implement in the Directorate to make this happen? Are new roles and responsibility needed to make this integration feasible? And so forth. Workforce, how we can organize better our workforce, how we can manage resources properly. And I think one of the I would say the biggest benefit of this change is going to be in terms of behavior and culture, because there are lots of efficiency gains, and moving towards a performance-based culture and also a synergy culture will clearly create a new culture, a new behavior, sorry. One dimension that is also fundamental in order to, I would say, define the perimeter of this change is the organizational structure. And this organizational structure, among all these 6 dimensions, has been, up to now, the most advanced one in the process of change. This is the as-is of today, because of course to start a change, there was always a need, there is always the need to analyze the as-is and understand where we want to go. This is familiar probably for all of you. This is the actual certification directorate organigram. And maybe, your attention can go more on the Rotorcraft department, where you can see there are 3 areas, 3 sections, and divided based on the weight, so heavy, medium, and light rotorcraft. How, in the new organizational structure, we have envisaged the change. I will leave the floor to Javier to move on and to show better the difference and to let you understand the benefits of this new organization.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So in this project for transforming the certification directorate, the first dimension that was addressed, it's been addressed currently, is the organizational structure. And actually the exercise started more or less 1 year ago on an exercise at the senior management level on reflecting how the structure, the current split on sections, departments, could be perhaps reshaped in a different manner to enable and facilitate the other areas of transformation in a better and more robust manner. So when conducting this reflection, a number of benefits were targeted. To be able to have a more compact organization. And on this target benefit, the end result will be to reduce the number of departments, moving from 7 departments into 6 departments. I will show you in the next slide. To ensure a stronger coherence at department level. To enable and to facilitate if new products, new applications, novel technologies approach to EASA, to be able to deal with them in a more clear and unambiguous manner, as we may be doing today. To have better boundaries on the kind of products. We are dealing with new technologies, new air machines, which depart from the traditional and conventional products. So we have to be able to come back to you and to give you response on how we are going to deal with these products, again, with a clear and efficient response. To facilitate more flexibility and agility within departments, enabling a better workload management, prioritization, and responsiveness. To have more balance on the size of the departments, the size of the sections. Today, within EASA, we have big sections of around 20 people, smaller sections of around 5 to 10 people. So in order to facilitate a better management of the people, of the teams, and the workload, the reshape of the organizational structure will attempt that. Considerations on the roles of the talented people within EASA, the role of the PCNs, the role of the DOA team leaders, the role of the experts, the seniors, the chiefs, to have some considerations as well to bring some additional clarities. To facilitate the future integration of products. We may not have in the future maybe a separate TC for an engine and an aircraft on a highly integrated electrical propulsion system. So these areas of consideration are being considered in the city roadmap. To have a stronger program management, strategy management, to be able to anticipate the workload within the certification directorate and be able to plan ahead the number of resources, the number of dedication for the future projects. To be consistent with the strategic orientations of EASA, one example is to reinforce the DOA focus. One area of currently being deployed is the performance-based approach, the level of involvement. So DOA will have a stronger and more demanding presence as it's having today, perhaps. And it has to be visible, it has to be readable, understandable from outside, from whoever is going to see the organizational chart in our webpage. It has to be immediately clear what are the boundaries within EASA. So in an attempt to target all these benefits, the first outcome on the organizational chart is what you have now in front of your eyes. 6 departments instead of 7. The names A, B, C, and D, etc. are just working names for avoiding confusion with the current city 1, 2, 3, etc. And the bullet points do not represent sections today. It represents what is going to be the scope of the department. But you could see already some differences from today's organization. You can see that, for example, the department B, which is equivalent to the department 2, general aviation, it will encompass in the future the business aeroplanes, which today are in the city 1, in the large aeroplanes department. On the department C, which is the department today Rotorcraft, city 3, the word VTOL appears, and actually, quite likely, the name of the department will be changed from Rotorcraft to VTOL. in the future. The Department D, which is today propulsion and parts and appliances, it will incorporate the environment sustainability aspects. It will incorporate a power plant. The power plant experts are today spread along the aircraft product lines, while the power plant will be in the future coming into one single department, as well targeting to facilitate this integration between the engine and aircraft. And it will be also the cornerstone for the electrical propulsion and lithium batteries, dealing with electrical propulsive systems. Department D, which is today the CT6, the DOE department, it will incorporate the parts and appliances, the ETSO certification. And the Department F is perhaps the department with more transversal actuations today within the certification directorate. It will incorporate a new programming function, what I was mentioning before. There will be, for a certain range of products and applications like STCs, military aeroplanes, ARPAs, depending on certain characteristics, the project will be allocated in the future to the corresponding product line. It's large aeroplanes, VTOL, general aviation products. And this is today under consideration. Do you want to continue?
Regarding the internal stakeholders, we have identified, of course, around the city staff, all the ones that are going to be impacted by the change. And as you can see, there are several of them within the city directorate, but also is a cross-directorate impact. And contemporary also in bilateral partners, of course, and industry that are better envisaged here. So these are all the external stakeholders, European NAAs, international NAAs, bilateral partners, OEM, airlines, MRO, but as well as the European Commission, university, institutions. So it's a project, of course, that will not just be limited, inside the EASA, but will definitely have an impact also with all of you. And we are going to start all these key areas, transformation and strategic initiatives involving, of course, starting a dialogue, with all of you. The events that we have attended and where the City20 roadmap has been presented have been already several. And here there is a list with some dates, and you can recognize some of these events outside the EASA, but also inside the EASA. And the importance of the methodologies that, of course, we are implementing, the change management methodologies, is exactly that. For us, communication, of course, is a key parameter in the change, and is elaborated in detail. And the messages to be sent out and inside the EASA have been elaborated and tailored for the different stakeholders. An overview on the change core team. So it's me as project manager, Javier as change agent, but also Gregory Livry as a planning and process manager, and Laurent Grutz as a technical integration manager. And we have highlighted several times the need to be transversal and to implement integrations in this project. A very high-level plan with several milestones. So to recap, the City Directorate change process started 1 year ago. The change management approach has been implemented in August 2018, so not so long time ago, pretty recently, because it's an holistic, the importance to embrace this holistic approach has been considered crucial, from the management of EASA. The key areas roadmap, so the starting of the different initiatives to transform the City Directorate also was activated. And we are planning to sustain the change process from now until 2020. And of course, the change and the transformation will go even beyond, and will be reiterated along the way. Thank you very much for your attention. And I don't know if there are questions from the hall or if there is Slido.
Slido.
Yes, okay. So thank you very, very much.